Aloha, folks. Thank you very much for joining me for another episode of Flat Earth Live. This specifically is going to be about the dome, the answer to why is the sky blue, and why are the bodies of water on Earth blue as well. Well, we can take a few things into account. We know that the air that we see, that we call sky, is clear. We know that the ether is clear. And we also know that water is clear. So what could it be that is causing the air that we look at, that we call the sky, and the water that we look at, that we call the oceans? What could be causing them to have that bluish color? It's a really good question, because you see, if you take a clear glass and you scoop out some of that water from the ocean that looks beautiful blue, it'll be clear. And the same thing with air. If you were to take a sample of the air, it would be clear. So clearly it's clear. But for some reason, when we're looking at it, a sample of the air would be clear. So clearly it's clear. Yes, just like I said, for some reason, when we're looking at it, sample. So it's clear. And why is that, folks? Well, the answer is this. We live on a flat encapsulated plane of Earth that's dome encapsulated, and the dome that we live underneath is made out of blue glass. Sounds a little far-fetched. Well, hang in there with me and I'll explain to you how we know this to be a fact. But do me a favor, Craig, Laya, Stuart, Deveron, Floyd, Tim, Craig, Ton, Tim, and Anton Jr. Go right there and invite all your friends and share this in 1 or 2 or 3 of your favorite Flat Earth Facebook truth groups, so I can go ahead and get into this conversation. I'm going to do the same thing right now. So let's go ahead and go over what I'm going to discuss. I'm going to discuss the science of how we know why the air that's clear appears blue and why the water that is clear appears blue, the same blue. It's because we are encapsulated by a blue glass dome. How do we know this? Well, let's do a little bit of reverse extrapolation here. We know that rainbows cannot be produced outdoors without the use of a prism extrapolation or a glass. We know that since we know that rainbows cannot be produced indoors without the use of a prism or a glass, we can extrapolate upon that and say, okay, what could be the solid vast covering that's encapsulating our flat plane of Earth? Well, it would have to be some type of crystalline surface, because otherwise you couldn't get rainbows outdoor. Now the next logical conclusion is, well, what color is that crystalline surface? Well, it's air and water is our clue. It's giving off a bluish hue. If you put water in a red glass, a green glass, a blue glass, or any color glass, the water will take on the color of that glass. It'll give it that hue. Put water in a clear glass, it'll take on its natural appearance, which is clear. So it leads us to the conclusion that most likely the crystalline dome that's encapsulating our flat plane of Earth is most likely blue glass, right? So now let's get into the fun science of it. How could we prove that? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about today. So as I said before, please invite your friends to watch this and share this video in 2 or 3 of your favorite Facebook truth groups. Here's how we know that there is a blue glass dome covering our flat plane of Earth. Ready? Okay, so first of all, the science of lightning proves that there is something vast and solid covering our heads. How's that, you say? The science of lightning proves it because lightning, if you didn't know this already, strikes up, not down, originating from the ground. As rain clouds pass by Earth, they send invisible downward leaders that create a path for Earth's electrostatic energy to be shot upwards, going up until it hits the dome, bouncing back and reverberating as a localized roar. So whether the dome is a crystalline surface or metal or made out of wood, whatever it's made out of, something is bouncing off, something is blocking, is a boundary for this upward striking lightning to come back as a localized roar. You know, when you see lightning about 10 seconds later or so, you hear the thunder because it takes time to travel back down. So we know there's something solid and vast above our heads. And as I explained to you earlier in the video, we have to start extrapolating from that point. Well, we have rainbows outdoors. It must be a crystalline or glass type of encapsulating surface that we are inside of, because there's rainbows. You can't produce a rainbow indoors without the use of a crystalline glass prism. Now we take the color. Well, if water was pink, I would say maybe the glass is pink. If water was red, I would say maybe, or the sky was red as well, maybe I'd say that the glass was red. But it turns out the sky and water are both blue. That's perfect for this because, you see, we can make blue glass here on Earth in abundance because lava, cooled rapidly, turns into blue glass called blue obsidian. So the lava on Earth is actually forming. In the beginning it formed already, but right now it's continuously regenerating and renewing this blue glass dome, because as lava spews out, it's being cooled rapidly at the exterior of our circular Earth at the Arctic ice wall, creating the perfect conditions following Paschen's law to create a glass blue dome. And the last piece of evidence that you're going to need to know for sure that this dome that we're living under is blue glass is perlite. Perlite is the saving grace in this. If you don't know what perlite is already, well, it's potting soil. It's a lot more than potting soil, but it's that white styrofoamy stuff that you call potting soil. Look into it. It's abundant here on Earth. Every country, the United States, Japan, China, Russia, has storehouses of it in the excess of millions and millions and millions and hundreds of millions of tons. It's a lot. So it's abundant here on Earth. And the only way to get perlite is from the byproduct of obsidian. So extrapolate that. Where are we getting this from? We know that perlite is abundant here on Earth. But do you know this? It's non-renewable. It doesn't make much sense, right? Where is it coming from? Well, it's as the dome continually renews itself with more lava being cooled rapidly at the exteriors of our ice wall, it's also shedding itself just like our skin does. And it sheds itself in the form of perlite. So what we have been calling shooting stars our whole life is literally, for lack of better terms, potting soil. It's perlite. Perlite is found here on Earth in abundance. And the way it turns white is they do a process called expanding, where they heat up the perlite that they find here on Earth, which is kind of gray and smoky, and they heat it up to a little bit above 800 degrees, and it, like popcorn, turns bright white with a tail behind it, and that's how we get the white perlite instead of the smoky charcoal gray perlite that comes naturally from the dome. So why else would there be an abundant amount of perlite on Earth, and the only way to get it is from the byproduct of obsidian? We would have to have a massive amount of this stuff. Well, the Bible says in Job 37:18, when asked what the firmament dome is made out of, God himself gives the answer and says that the dome is made out of molten lava and that it's glass. Molten lava looking glass. So we know it's lava. All the other ancients said that it was made out of glass. What color could it be? Blue. How do we know it's obsidian? Because perlite's abundant here on Earth. And there you go. So thank you guys very much for tuning in for this quick, short video on how we know that we live in a dome, inside of a dome, how we know what color it is, how we know what it's made out of, it's a type of glass, and is there an abundant amount of it, a plentiful amount of it to be able to go ahead and make this dome, because it would have to be huge. Yes, there is lava. And what other proof do we have of it? Well, shooting stars, perlite. There you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed this quickie. I'm doing a lot of these videos because I want to get other people to start thinking about this. There's a lot of dome subscribers, and that's great, but we need to start speculating on what is the dome? What's it made out of? Obsidian is dielectric, so it absorbs the upward striking lightning's energy, which is plasma, and the dielectric capacity of obsidian is able to absorb this plasma energy and charge the dome itself, allowing for all the celestial bodies to orbit above our head. And lastly, at the uppermost layer of our atmosphere, at the very top of the dome, is superfluid helium at 0 degrees Kelvin. You see, the sun probably works as some type of refrigerating system that takes hydrogen and through a process of cold fusion produces hydrogen. So it'll take, produces superfluid helium. So it'll take, 4 hydrogens and produce 1 helium. And since hydrogen is abundant here on Earth, Eric Dollard, when I was speaking with him, he said that the sun, or he was explaining to me how the sun is a hollow sphere. How do we know this? Well, we know it's something that's up there, and we also know that it's hollow because what we call sunspots are not sunspots. Those are holes in the sun, exhaust holes. And if you angle your telescope right and you have a powerful telescope, you can actually, not straight on, but you can angle, and you can see that the sun is actually hollow inside. So inside of it is some type of mechanism that is allowing these elements to bombard against each other, making superfluid helium at 0 degrees Kelvin. Hydrogen, helium, and oxygen explains all the elements here on Earth. The combination of those through the dichotomy of the sun using cold fusion explains what we have here on Earth as rain. It explains how the dome is kept stable indefinitely. So there you go, guys. Geek out on this. Get back to me with your comments and let me know if you see any flaws. See if you can add to or take away from this theory. Thank you. I've been working on this for about 4 years, and I'm always looking for new input. Appreciate it, guys. Have a great day. From Maui, Hawaii to you, I love you. Goodbye, guys, and have a great day. Oh yeah, before I go, let me answer some questions. I almost forgot. But share this for me, please. Share this in 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, however many Facebook Truth groups you can, and let's get the conversation going. I'll stick around for another 10, 15 minutes, guys, okay? Let's see here. Craig, Stuart, Devron, Floyd, Tim, Craig, Ton, Tim Carr says oxygen. Anton, as I said, Paul Evans, Keali. Danny James says, I use perlite in my veggie garden. Yep. Danny James says it's good for drainage and it turns yellow in sunlight. Yep. Gareth says, are you preparing to move out? White House on the cards, I'm guessing. Yes, sir. Aloha Vi says, hey, Joey. Gareth says helium. Yes. And Gareth says exhaust holes in the sun. It's just for lack of better words, brother. I'm just using layman's terms. If I get all scientific, it takes so long. You know what I mean? To explain all this stuff, you have to kind of throw it out there in kind of like layman's terms, right? Gareth says genius. Thank you, brother. Well, it was not my idea. None of this stuff actually was my idea. It was partly my idea. The entire thing was actually partly my idea. But it took, if you don't know who these people are, they're huge to me. Robert Pisano and Eric Dollard. There's a few other people too, but those two main people, and a guy named John who I never got his last name. He doesn't go by his last name. He doesn't even go on video. He just does his voice. So I don't know who he is, but he sounds like Russian Vids. That's how he sounds like, and he's really smart like Russian Vids, but it's not Russian Vids. but he's kind of got that personality. Well, anyways, and then a few other guys, Robert Shortman, if you don't know who he is, and a few more people that don't want to be named. But anyways, we geeked out on this about 3 or 4 years ago, and we geeked out on it for about 1.5 to 2 years, coming up to this conclusion. So those guys have kind of dropped off the video how I do, and I haven't dropped off. I'm not going to. So I'm keeping it alive because to me it's important. To me, I got valuable information, and it took me years to research it, and I never would have come to this conclusion on my own. So what I'm doing is I'm throwing it out there to the internet hive mind to see if we can extrapolate more on it. I've got geniuses behind me. Eric Dollard, if you don't know who he is, he's a genius. If you don't know who Robert Pisano is, he's a genius. Robert Shortman is, I wouldn't consider him a genius, but Robert Shortman is one of the very few people who happens to be not only a flat earther, but he's been to Antarctica. And he gave us valuable information. And John is a physics major and knows, he's basically the smartest physics person I've ever talked to in my life, and he just so happens to be a flat earther. So, and he's a Christian too, so he's a Bible believer. So we put all these different things together, Job 37:18, Revelations talking about the sea of glass, all the ancient Vedics talking about glass, 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 and we started extrapolating. Rainbows can only be produced outdoors without the use of a prism or a mirror. Indoors, it cannot be produced. And then the biggest question was this: why is the sky blue and why is water blue? Maybe what the crystalline surface above us is blue. And then so we started thinking, well, what could make that naturally here on Earth? And then I'm an expert in volcanism, and I told him, I said, hey, you guys know it's a rare, on Earth it is rare, blue obsidian. I said, but it's potentially a possibility. And if we are surrounded by an Antarctic ice wall, then that would be the perfect conditions. Now, John and Robert Pisano didn't know much about lava, as I did at that point. But once they did, they geeked out at it, and they were like, oh my goodness. And then the kicker was when we found out that the byproduct of obsidian is perlite, and that perlite's abundant on Earth, and there's no other way to make perlite besides the byproduct of obsidian. See, when obsidian sweats, the molecules in the air hydrate themselves, turning into the styrofoamy material, and it falls to Earth. And if you look at the process of expanding perlite, which is just heating it, it looks exactly like a shooting star does. So as the dome is rotating and continually renewing itself, it's shedding itself and renewing itself, but as it sheds itself in the form of perlite, it falls down to the Earth, and as it falls down from the dome, its speed causes temperature change, and that temperature change probably, according to John, goes above 1200 degrees. But whatever temperature it goes above 800 degrees, that's for sure, causing the same expansion process that perlite goes under whenever we mine it here on Earth. And what happens is it expands to about 15 times its size. It gets a brilliant, bright white glow and leaves a tail behind it. So that was the kicker for us. So I'm solid on this. I'm confident on it. I'm 100% sure that everything I'm saying is absolutely been proven, but I'm trying to extrapolate upon it. So I'm throwing it out there to the internet hive mind. And videos like this that I do usually get like maybe 300, 400, 500, maybe a couple thousand views. Hopefully this will get more. But usually when I do videos like this that are really geeky, geeking out on the dome, I don't get too many views, but that's okay. The people that are viewing, hopefully you guys, if you've never heard this before, hopefully you can entertain this idea, ask me some questions if I didn't explain it too well, and then extrapolate upon it. Or if you are a knowledgeable person and you see some flaws in this theory, well then point them out. But I geeked out on this with actual scientists, physics majors, people who actually had been to Antarctica and explored it. So I've got all my facts checked here, and see if I'm wrong on any of this stuff. The only way to make perlite is the byproduct of obsidian. Perlite is abundant here on Earth. The storehouses of it. Where are we getting it from? It's non-renewable. The sky's blue, water's blue, but they're both clear. They're giving us a bluish hue. The only way to make blue obsidian is to cool it off rapidly. Put all this stuff together, and you have a flat, motionless, circular Earth surrounded by an ice ring. It's dome encapsulated by a blue glass created by the lava cooling rapidly. And that glass is called obsidian. They just call it glass for all intents and purposes. It's glass. That's what it is. They just call it obsidian. And obsidian kind of, people, what is obsidian? It's just a technical name for blue lava glass. Or obsidian can actually be black, green, yellow. It can be several different colors, but when you cool it rapidly, it turns blue. And what color is the ozone? Blue. Why? I get into it much deeper, guys. It goes so deep. This theory goes so deep. Remember, I geeked out on this for like a couple of years with top-notch people, but throwing it out there so you guys too can hear it, maybe for the first time, and so you can extrapolate upon it. You know, maybe tell me some flaws that you think there are in it, maybe add something to it that I haven't thought of before. That's how we learn together, right? Gareth says, geek out, guys. Nathan Thompson's here. Hey, Nathan Thompson, can I tell you something real quickly while you're here? Actually, I'll wait. If you're still here, Nathan Thompson, say I'm still here, and then I'll talk to you. Otherwise, I don't like talking to myself. Gareth says, Nathan Thompson is listening. Yeah, Nathan Thompson's the man. I appreciate you, Nathan Thompson. And people always go, hey, Joey, because I always talk about Nathan Thompson. They're like, Joey, why do you always talk about him? Is the reason why you talk about Nathan Thompson because you guys look alike? No. I joke and I say we're twins. We're not actually twins. We just look similar. But, you know, all light-skinned people kind of look alike, right? No, but Nathan and I look alike. We happen to be flat earthers, but Nathan's taller than me. He's a little bit better looking than me. And he's really, really good at promoting the flat earth. His official Flat Earth versus the Globe group has over 125,000 members already. And that's huge. So I love him. You're my homeboy, Brother Nathan. Oh, Gareth says, is he the lying crook? No, he's not a lying crook, actually. So just as, you know, this has nothing to do with my video, but people get onto Nathan Thompson because he's involved in a company called Legal Shield, right? And people say, oh, maybe he's doing the flat earth just to get more people into Legal Shield. No, that's just nonsense. Just don't listen to that. Judge the man by his actions. He's a stud. He goes on video. He goes to activisms, meetups, creates their own meetups, goes to the meetup, sponsors it, so he's a stud. Hey, Liz Cole, how are you doing, Liz Cole? I miss you, and sounds kind of funny, but I love you because I love all my friends from the past and all my, you know, friends now too. So I love you, Liz Cole, and I hope everything's going good. And as you probably know, I've been talking about the flat earth for what, like 4 or 5 years already, and I'm not going to stop because it's flat, and what matters is the implications behind the earth being flat and motionless with a dome encapsulating it. And that's why I'm running for president in 2020, because it turns out that there's more land and more resources, and everybody, knowing this information, everybody can have free land in abundance. We can live in a land of milk and honey where you have everything you've ever wanted, and you never have to work again, and you'll never be homeless, you'll never be hungry. You can be fruitful, multiply, and raise your family, or do whatever you want. And that's how life is supposed to be. But they tricked us into living into a slave labor type of lifestyle. Jody Sanchez, thank you for joining. Phil says hello. Nathan Thompson says, I'm still here, fam. Nathan Thompson says, people who don't know me like to make up lies. Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, I mean, people make up lies about me all the time. The bottom line is this. So if you've been in any type of public speaking for a certain amount of time and you can't deal with your hecklers, you're not going to last very long. Here's my policy. Nathan Thompson, if you're still watching, and everybody else if you're that's tuned in right now, let me tell you my policy. When people troll me and say comments on my page like Joey's a crook, or he's a what else do people call me? He's a they say maybe I'm abusing my child, or you know, whatever kind of stuff they say. All I do is I like their comment, and then if I have time, I'll comment underneath their comment and I'll say the opposite is true, or have a great day, or thanks for the view count, something ridiculous like that, right? The reason why I do that is because you can actually use these people who are considered trolls to your advantage. Think of the Wizard of Oz. Remember when the Scarecrow and Dorothy were they were hungry and they were trying to get apples? Well, the Scarecrow without a brain was smart enough to realize that if he antagonized the apple trees, they would throw apples at him. They cut off their nose to spite their face, basically. So the same thing with the trolls. When people troll you, just take it as it is and use it to your advantage, because there's an algorithm on Facebook called Ticker. And the way it works is something like this. When somebody likes your comment or your post, or you like your comment or your post, or even just if somebody comments, even if it's a negative comment, it notifies all of their friends that there's action being done at this moment live. And see, human beings want to know what's going on right now, right? So by proxy of their hatred towards you and them tagging their friends, they're actually bringing more attention to your cause. So the trolls are our friends because honestly, we're trying to save everybody. Troll is just a nickname that we use for people who are against us and vehemently against us, right? Kayla, thank you for joining. Jody Sanchez says, the Testament of Solomon. And when they were gone, I ordered Orneus to be brought forward and said to him, tell me how you know this. And he answered, we demons ascended into the firmament of heaven and fly about among the stars. And we hear sentences which go forth upon the souls of men, and forthwith we come, and whether by force or influence, or by fire, or by sword, or by some accident, we veil our act of destruction. And if a man does not die by some untimely disaster or by violence, then we demons transform ourselves in such a way as to appear to men and be worshipped in our human nature. It goes on further. I'm going to go ahead and read it. I, therefore, having heard this, glorified the Lord God. And again, I questioned the demons, saying, tell me how ye can ascend into heaven, being demons, and amidst the stars and holy angels intermingle. And he answered, just as things are fulfilled in heaven, so also on earth are fulfilled the types of all of them. For there are principalities, authorities, world rulers, and we demons fly about in the air, and we hear their voices of the heavenly beings, and survey all the powers. And as having no ground basis on which to alight and rest, we lose strength and fall off like leaves from trees. And men seeing us imagine that the stars are falling from heaven. But it is not really so, O King, but we fall because of our weakness, and because we have nowhere anything to lay hold of. So we fall down like lightning in the depth of the night, and suddenly. And we set cities in flames and fire the fields. For the stars have firm foundations in the heavens like the sun and the moon. Yeah, thank you. And I think what that is, Jody, is I think that you're trying to say that maybe, I'm just guessing here, that maybe what I'm saying, that shooting stars are perlite, is incorrect, and it's actually these demons. Well, you're right and I'm right, okay? Because perlite is shooting stars. What the Bible is referring to is these demons. So when you see a shooting star, that white thing with the tail behind it, that's the perlite. But when you see these orbs that are moving really fast, those are probably what the Bible's talking about as far as demons. And Kat Shaw, thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. So if you're just tuning in right now, don't forget to hit the invite button and invite all your friends to watch, and also share this in all your favorite Facebook Flat Earth Truth groups. As I'm doing right now too. Jody Sanchez, if you could share this video for me, I'd really appreciate that. And everybody else who's watching live right now, if you can share this video for me while it's live, I'd really appreciate that. I'm going to share it in a couple more groups, and then I'm going to get back to my blue obsidian dome proofs. Okay, there we go. There's the last one. And then please, if you guys could share for me while I'm talking, I really appreciate that. Invite your friends while I'm talking as well. Okay, let's get back to it. The sky's blue, but technically the sky's clear because air is clear. Water's blue, but technically water's clear because if you take a glass of water, you'll see it's actually clear, it's transparent. However, they both have a bluish hue, and they have the same bluish hue, and it's due to the fact that the flat motionless plane of Earth that we're encapsulated in is covered by a blue glass made from volcanic lava cooled rapidly at the exteriors of the Antarctic ice wall, creating blue obsidian. And the blue obsidian is rotating one complete 360-degree rotation per day with the stars attached to it. That's why we have star trails. And as it continually renews, just like our skin, it's also shedding in the form of perlite that we call shooting stars. Thank you very much, you guys. I really appreciate it. Blaine, what's up, my homeboy Blaine? All right, guys, so share this video for me. Invite some friends, but comment on it. Let me know what you think. Even if you don't want to say that it was that you have an idea or that you disagree with something, just let me know, hey, it sounds good, or this part sounds not plausible, or hey, did you think about this? And give me your best shot, okay? I've been working on this, as I said, for, I don't know, a few years already with some really stellar people, and still to this day I'm continuing to. I'm learning more and more and more and more. And the cool thing is that in the years that I've been contemplating this theory, it hasn't changed one bit because it hasn't needed to. I don't mind changing it. I'll change it in a heartbeat. If there's new facts, new information that comes that changes it, I don't care. I have no dog in this race. I just want to get to the bottom of it. But it hasn't changed. You'd think it would, right? Everything makes sense, Occam's razor style. So give me your input, guys, and let me know what you think. I promise you I check all my comments, and if you have a good comment and you have something, or you have a good idea, leave a comment and let me know what you think. Dome is blue. It's blue glass. It's made from volcanic lava cooling rapidly. We have all the conditions for it. And the main thing I would really appreciate all of you to look into is perlite, P-E-R-L-I-T-E, being the byproduct of obsidian. The only way to make perlite is the byproduct of obsidian. Perlite is abundant here on Earth. We have storehouses of it, stockpiles of it, by the millions of tons each country. Where's it coming from? It's non-renewable, but it's abundant. That's right. Okay, guys, take care. Have a flat-tastic rest of your day, and I will too. Okay? Have a great day, and don't forget, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And if you watch this whole video again from its entirety, I think you're going to learn a lot, because I discussed superfluid helium. I discussed the cold fusion process the sun is going through, conversations with Eric Dollard and Robert Rossano, and much, much more. Share this video. Let people who aren't even flat earthers hear this, because maybe it'll be interesting to them to contemplate these ideas. This is kind of like a higher level flat earth, because not only is this flat earth, but this is the dome, and it's telling you exactly what the dome's made out of, how it was made, what color it is, and how we can prove, in fact, that this theory is correct. So this video explains it all. And that's what I love about this theory, is that there's nothing left out. Even the formation of it from the very beginning, and how it's continually renewing itself, and how we can ensure ourselves that, wait a minute, how do we know that what's up there is blue obsidian? Everything is explained in this theory. This isn't the whole theory. This is kind of like a nutshell of it. But I do have videos that are several hours long explaining in detail every single thing. I have one called Genesis that explains the actual formation in the very beginning of how the dome actually formed, using Paschen's law and the bubble sphere theory as well. So if you want copies of that video, go through my videos and you can see it, or instant message me and I will send it to you as well. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. And Ben Wakeford, aloha, brother. Thank you for joining. I'm actually leaving, so just rewind this or watch it from the beginning when I'm done. But do me a favor, brother. Share this video and invite your friends to watch, and everybody else too. Share this video, invite your friends to watch. There is a dome that we live inside of. We're encapsulated by a blue obsidian dome. Lightning proves, the science of lightning proves that we live in some type of solid, vast structure, because thunder is hitting off of something as it does its upward trajectory from Earth, giving us that reverberation or roar. Now the next step is, well, what is that? What solid, vast substance is it? The question lies within our reasoning. So we have to start extrapolating. Well, we know that rainbows are outside, but we know that we cannot produce a rainbow indoors without the use of a mirror or a prism or glass. So whatever is above our head that's solid, that's making that thunderous reverberation from lightning, is not only solid, but it's crystalline or glass. Now that we know that, we have to start asking questions like, what color could it be? Well, it's obviously blue, because water and air are clear, yet there's a bluish hue given off to it. Then we start to say, well, could that be produced naturally here on Earth? Yeah. Lava turns into blue obsidian, which is blue glass, by cooling it rapidly. Well, are there conditions here on Earth that would meet that? Yeah, the Antarctic ice wall. And if you follow volcanism, the ring of fire is just on the inner circle of the Antarctic ice wall. Perfect conditions to make blue obsidian. even more than that, the most important thing, and I hope you guys look into this, perlite, Perlite. I know it sounds silly because it's potting soil, but actually they use it in cement, they use it for aquaponics, there's multiple uses for it. And if you look into perlite and start to reverse engineer this theory, you're gonna go, oh, I promise. Okay guys, take care, share this, and have a great day.